All right. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited for tonight. This is our second virtual author meet and greet with some of our author community in the Authors Impact Hub. So you get to learn a little bit more about their background and a little bit more about their books and their writing journeys. So I am your host, Juanita Woodson, the founder of the Authors Impact Hub. And I won't go too much into me. If you join the Authors Impact Hub, you'll see that we're always doing some great things in there to really encourage and push and support authors to make an impact with their books. So tonight, we have three amazing authors. So we have Miss Dani Nicole, we have Joi West Phalo, and then we have ShaKrystin Jones Dock. So I hope I said everybody's name correctly. If not, please correct me. I want to make sure I get it right. All right, so we are going to have Q&A. So give each author an opportunity to tell a little bit about their background, where they're from, and then we'll get into some Q&A. I'll ask you some questions, and then we'll open the floor for some dialogue if any of our guests have questions. And then any of the authors, if you have questions for your co-authors tonight, please feel free to jump in. All right, so first up, we are going to have Miss ShaKrystin Jones Dock. If you can, share a little bit about who you are, where you are from, and what inspired you to write your book.
Okay, hi, I'm ShaKrystin Jones Dock. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I'm a mother, a wife. I work at the elementary school, child of Christ. What started me to write this book? I was literally laying in bed and I went through this procedure with my son. I had previa, and it's a pregnancy complication. So I had never heard of it. So I just felt like some other women may not have heard of it. So I just felt like maybe I just need to tell my journey because a lot of stuff went on with that because other people deal with all kinds of issues during pregnancy, but this one, like I say, I had never heard of. So I feel like I just wanted to go in depth and just tell my journey. My book is Placenta Previa. I don't know if you can see it. But that's it.
Okay.
It was published a year ago.
Yes. Well, congratulations on being,
That's
this is
great.
your first published book?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations on being a published author and then sharing your journey. I know when we talk about some of those like personal things, especially when it's dealing with our body and it's dealing with complications of pregnancy, it can be a little scary to share those things. So what was the most challenging part of writing about your pregnancy and the medical condition?
Challenging was just trying to make sure I got every detail explained, what is what, so I won't be losing anyone. So you'll know like what particular condition goes on with this one. Like with placenta previa, it's a lot of hemorrhaging, going back and forth to the hospital. So if you do not know, if you don't go in a certain amount of time, you can literally lose yourself. You could die, your child. It's a lot of issues that come along with that. So just making sure that I put out the correct information to give to people, that was just my journey. That's what I wanted to give to people in this book.
Oh, wow. And I've never heard of that condition before.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how supportive was like your husband and your family as you were going through that process?
As we got through the first initial knowing that that was what I had, everybody was on board, like bed rest when I got off of work, put feet up, just no extra pressure on me because like I said, any moment, anything could happen. And we didn't want to risk losing me and or the child. So it was major support from my family, both sides.
Awesome. And how old is your baby?
This particular child, he is 2 because I have 3. I have a
Okay.
13-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And the last one, he took me through this journey.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you here to be able to share your journey with other women, other families too, because as you're going through pregnancy, like, it's not just about how we feel, but also just being able to share like what that looks like for the people around us. Like that's really scary. So I'm glad that you're here to be able to share. So what message is it that you want readers to take from reading your book?
Just know yourself. If you feel some type of issue going on, don't be scared to go to the doctor. Get yourself checked out to make sure that, hey, I'm okay. And if not, then please call 911. Go to the emergency room, hospital, and get yourself taken care of. So like I say, that literally saved my life.
Yes, yes. And you said that, so your book is a year, right? You've been a published
Yeah.
author for a year. So what has that journey been like as a published author for you?
Like I say, it's just getting in the works. Like I say, I haven't been trying to put it out there as much as I should. But since I've been with the Author Impact, I've been trying to push myself more. Like I say, Joy, she's helped me. She's been pushing me. So just everybody coming together and just putting me in a place where I know I have a support system that can show me the steps to get this book out.
Yes, yes. And it's a message that a lot of people need to hear. You never know what complications you may face in pregnancy. So I'm inspired by you being able to share that. So as a first-time author, is there any advice that you would give to anybody that's thinking about writing a book?
Yeah, write your story. Everybody has a story, no matter what it is. My 13-year-old child, he's on his computer every day writing something. So we're trying to get him something out too. Like I say, everybody has a story. Don't be scared. I was scared. I was just writing. And then I got into the right hands. And like I say, now it's published. So if you got something to say, write it down and put it out there.
Yes, I love that. Just right, straight to the point, right? And I love that you've inspired your 13-year-old to start writing too. So that's what it's all about. Yes, thank you so much for sharing. So I'm gonna open the floor if anybody has any questions for Kristen about her journey, or being an author. Don't be afraid to come off mute, and I'm looking at the chat as well to see if there's any questions in the chat.
Well, I one thing, what's the name of the book again?
It's called Surviving Placenta Previa. Like I say,
Okay.
it's on Amazon.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all can see it, but
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, my question is, because I'm sure with it being a personal story, there was some vulnerability.
Definitely.
How did you, overcome that? Because I'm that person. Being vulnerable for me is hard to tell my truth. So how was that for you?
The initial just knowing at the doctor's office, I lost it. In the car going home, I lost it. But after I read up on it and figured, like, okay, this is what takes place. You know what you have to do. You know the steps you have to take so you won't be in a situation where things can go left. So, just staying, having my feet elevated, no stress, all of that. Like I say, all of that takes a part. So, like I say, just knowing your body, you know that when you're tired, sit down, don't push yourself because, like I say, the strains on your body can cause the bleeding, and that sends you to the hospital. You can be in the hospital for multiple times. So you just want to do as less is more. And like I say, being vulnerable, that was a lot. My husband was here for me. My family was here. Like I say, it was a lot on the family, so we was all taken back a little bit, but we all got together and they pushed me through it, and we got through the whole situation.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Congratulations on the book too.
Thank you, Miss Dani.
Can I add to her answer, Miss Dani? Okay, so my story is also very, very, very personal. And when it comes to telling your story, it's one thing that you may need to heal before you tell your story,
Hmm.
but also everything that we go through in life is not just for us. It's for someone else. And once it's my turn, I don't want but I wanted to add that to Shay as she was talking. But yeah, so it's just one of those things you may have to heal before you can actually, tell your story.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you.
Depending on what you're writing about, depending on what kind of story, I should clear that up. What you're writing, and once you go through what you've gone through, being in a space where it's like, you know what? Okay, I've gone through that. I am where I am confident enough to tell my story to help someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you for asking those questions and then the feedback, Joy. So we do have one question in the chat, so I want to make sure that I read this out. So it says T Lamb. I'm sorry, I don't see the first name, so I'm just gonna give the first initial. Congratulations on publishing your book. I'm glad you survived the complications of your pregnancy. And then where can I find your book?
Oh yeah, the book can be found on Amazon.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So before we move to our next author, with any other questions? All right. And if you think of some questions for ShaKrystin as we go through, please don't hesitate to save it for the end. We'll have an additional Q&A, and then also you can drop it in the chat. All right, so next up we have author Dani Nicole. Super excited to have Dani on. I've loved interviewing her for the Authors Impact Hub podcast. So she wrote a fiction book. Of course, I'm going to give her the floor to tell about it, but we had such an impactful time. So even like as a fiction book author, there were so many gems that you can pull out if you just center your mind or just have like a different perspective. So if you can tell us a little bit about your book, your background, and where you are from.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Juanita. So I am Dani Nicole. I am originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but now I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a mother of 3, and I am full-time. I have a full-time job at Truist Bank here in Charlotte. So the writing right now is part-time for me. But I wrote a fiction book, and it's called Entangled with Deceit. And I published it in March of this year. So I'm newly published, and I'm still out here promoting and marketing and trying to get myself known out here in this book world. So
Yes. So what was the journey like writing a fiction book? I know there's like a lot of character development. What was that process like for you?
So it was tough because I had never, again, it was new. It was tough to imagine, like each character had to have like their own voice. So I think that was the most challenging in the beginning, because I wrote the book in 2017 and I didn't pick it back up again until like 2022. So this had been like a 5-year span. And when I picked it up again, and because I honestly, I really thought I could just write it and publish it. But that was an awakening, because it's like, no, no, ma'am. You got some edits, some proofreading, some character development. And so that was a very new journey for me as a new author. And then I was just, like, okay, I'm new to this, to the whole thing, the publishing, the copyrights. I mean, when I tell you it's been a journey, I got to write a book about the journey.
Yes, and I think a lot of authors can relate to you about the journey of publishing. So it's always great to be able to connect with people who can kind of hold you accountable, or even just like be on the sideline with you, cheering you on through the publishing journey. So tell us a little bit about the book and what it's about.
Sure. So the book is about a young woman. She's, well, a middle age. She's about in her 30s, maybe 35. And so she desires love from a man. She wants a relationship. She moves to Charlotte, but she's single. She's a single woman, and she meets a guy, and this is like the it guy, like his demeanor. He just like checks all her boxes. And so they meet, and she falls in love, and they have this great beginning of the relationship, but then the tables turn, and she finds out that he has a secret. I can't give it all away. You got to buy the book, but she's torn. And then although it's fiction, I mean, I think it's relatable, because that's for any man or woman who's looking for love. And as we go through our journey of life and love, there's going to be some betrayal. There's going to be some deceit. He or she that's the one, like, Lord, that's him. Yes, but it's not. And so she kind of went through some things in her journey to finding love, turned out to be a whole big lie. And yeah, that's kind of what it's about.
Okay. So if you can answer this, right? I know you're not giving it away, giving a lot of,
Okay.
but I do want to ask, so how much of your own life experiences did you incorporate when writing this book?
So, um, I would say it's probably 50-50 because the book came out of a relationship that I had went through. The story changed a lot. And you know what? And I decided to make it fiction, just to kind of keep it, because at first I was going to do nonfiction. I was going to tell it all. I was going to say, this is what he did. But but I said no, I'm gonna take the fiction route. I'm gonna take the fiction route. But it reflected me because at the time I was single, a single young lady. Now I hadn't moved out of state, but I still was in a relationship where I just thought this was, oh my God, he was it. Like this was the man of my dreams. And when he took me through a tough time. And so that's how the story evolved, came about. And then now I had to tweak it but I didn't have I like the Jackie and Michael. I had a best friend similar to Jackie, but she didn't have a man. I just kind of played with it and moved some things around. I mean, I have a twin brother, but Victoria doesn't have a brother, so I was a single mom. Victoria's not a single mom. So those kind of things I kind of took out, but she's still a single woman like I was, dealing with heartache and love at the same time.
Okay. Okay. So it was smart if you were still going through the healing process to probably write this as a fiction book. So so we did get a question comment. So T Lamb asked, is it a romance novel? I hear those are bestsellers.
So it is a romance drama. Um, but yeah, I'm a romance novel buff. I love romance movies. I like the happy ending and everything just goes well. But the book, I said, no, we're not going to do it like that. The book is not going to be the happy ending. No, no.
Well, you leave room for a part two. So that's
Hmm.
always exciting, like in movies where it's like, okay, there's something that's coming after this. So
Yes.
it's okay to leave like that cliffhanger at the
Yep.
end. Yes. So I do want to open the floor to anyone if they have any questions for Dani. You can leave it in the chat or you can come off of mute.
It's funny because Juanita had the same question that I had. I was gonna ask you, did you put any personal experience into the book? And how and yeah. Now
Yeah,
it makes
I
sense why you
did.
asked the question earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was some yeah, because I was single, like
Right.
Victoria, looking for the man of my dreams. And sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for. You got to kind of be more specific with God and be like,
Most definitely.
then you learn like, that's not it.
Yes, yes. It's
So
all a
once you
learning
finished,
lesson. No,
so
I'm just saying it's
once you
all a learning lesson.
published, once you published, did you feel better
I did. I did. It,
about
it
the
took
whole
it took it
situation?
took 5 years. Like I
Right.
I should have been published it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And I
I
did.
asked that question because there may be someone that's watching the Zoom or may watch the replay. I'm sorry. And they may be hesitant about writing a book. But once they feel, they get to writing, they'll feel
Yes.
better about actually publishing. That's why I asked that
Yes.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what happened because I held on to it for 5 years. But you know what? When I moved to Charlotte, because that was a big risk. I've lived in Milwaukee all my life and I've never like moved out of that was moving out of my comfort zone. So coming here to Charlotte and making that move and stepping out on faith, then I was like, okay, I need to step out on faith and go ahead and get this book out here, and then just let God use it, you know. the way he knows how. So yeah, it was a big deal.
Yes. And I wanted to ask just one last question before we move to Joy. So what advice would you give to someone who has never written a book and they may be thinking about writing writing a fiction book?
So I would say um, write it for sure. Um, and don't be afraid, because every story is meant for somebody. And so don't let that stop you. Because I felt the same way. I was like, okay, who is my book going to reach? The target audience, who's going to read it? Why are they going to read it? I had all these questions, but just do it. Trust God that He's going to be in it. Stay your path. Do not try to be like anyone else. Stay authentic and true to yourself.
Yes, yes, I love that. And if you can share, how can we order your book?
So you can order my book on Amazon, and you can go to the publishing company, Black Gold Publishing. That's also where you can find the book.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm excited for part two, right?
It's
I know,
coming.
yes, I know it's gonna be amazing. So thank you for sharing. So I'm gonna
Thank you.
have some more questions for all three authors before we close out tonight. But our next author, we have Joi West Phalo. So I'm super excited to have connected with Joy. She is a bright light and she has so many amazing things that she is working on. So I'm gonna give you the floor if you can let us know where you are from, your book, and a little bit about your background.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again, Juanita, for this amazing space. You are absolutely amazing, and thank you for myself, but all of us. My name is Joi West Phalo. I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. I am currently two states. Is that how you said it the other day, Juanita? Yes, so I like that. I am back and forth from Alabama and South Carolina. I have three kids, two boys and one girl, Jaden, Jayla, and Jackson. I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, all of those things. I wear many hats, but let's just jump right into it. I am a four-time published author. Woo! And my first book is 15/19/23. And you're probably wondering, what are those numbers? So at the age of 15, I had my first child. I married at 19 and I divorced at 23. And what inspired me to write my book is my dad. He called me one day. He was like, Joy, you may want to tell your story. And I was like, okay, it's some things that you do not know that you're going to find out. And he was like, okay, you may encourage someone with your story. So that's exactly what I did. Excuse me. And so before I actually publish this book, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I have an organization. She changes everything, right? And the organization, She Changes Everything, meaning each woman, young girl, teenager, whatever, has the ability to change any situation with a made up mind. It starts in the mind. And my mom has always taught me, you can do anything that you want to be. You can do anything. You can be anyone as long as you set it up in your mind. So that's why I came up with the organization that was developed, birthed during COVID. Okay, so then I published the book, and after I published the book, I came out with the She Changes Everything journal. And in the journal, it has journal prompts. And I did this because my mom was an elementary school counselor. And she always told me that, and a fun fact, Shay and I are best friends in elementary school. So, yeah. So my mom would always tell me that everyone has a best friend to journal. So I did, because she was like, the journal can't talk. Everybody have a best friend they may tell. So that's when I came out with the journal. And then the affirmations book that I came out, She Changes Everything affirmation. It's always good to speak things. My mom has always instilled that in us. If you come to my mom's house, you will see believe everywhere. That's just one of those things. She's always taught us to speak positive thoughts. And so I came up with a 31-day affirmation for girls. They can wake up in the morning time and have affirmation. It's actually an affirmation and then it's like a question. So it's an interactive book. And then my newest baby that I am so excited about is the She Changes Everything workbook titled The Wheel of Life. And I actually hosted my first workshop with the book today. And it went amazing. And basically with this is for teen girls, of course, that are not pregnant, but teen girls to learn about self-esteem, self-discipline, healthy decision making. Because I was a teen mom, I teach girls not to do those type of things. Let's talk, let's think out the decisions before we actually make them, because we can't always choose the consequence. And that's pretty much it. So the book, I would say, let's clarify something. So the book, I say it's a proactive book for teen girls that will read the book that's not pregnant. They'll read it and they'll say, oh, yeah, it's definitely more to life than that. Because at the age of 15, there are things that you want to do, maybe go to prom or homecoming, but you can't because you're rocking a baby, right? And then for that teen mom that may find themselves in my shoes, they'll read the book and say, you know what? My life is not over with. If Miss Joy did it, I can definitely too. I can definitely do it too. Your life may detour, but you can still accomplish every dream that your heart desires. So, and then it's for any mom, grandmother that has teen girls. Hey, you may want to read the book. Not saying that your daughter, mine was where mine was, but it may put you on game, as the kids say, just so you have some insight.
Yes, yes, definitely. I love that. So if you can, because I know you shared about in your book, you talk about the personal moments. How was that writing about it? Like, you have to be very vulnerable when you're sharing about personal moments, but what was that feeling like for you?
Ooh, That so of course I did put some things in the book, but I had to heal. So I actually had a mentor for 2 years, and I didn't even think that I would write a book, you know what I mean? So I healed before the book, and just thinking while I'm writing the book, you know what? I know if there's a teen mom, there are some things that I know that we will experience together. You know what I mean? So just knowing the end game is to encourage a teen mom that, hey, your life is not over with. But then at the same time, encouraging that teen girl, hey, don't do this. Yeah, don't sneak out the house. Yeah, that type of deal.
Yes, definitely. And so I know you said that your dad called you and told you to write about it. So after the book is out, how supportive has your community been?
So honestly, to be a self-published author in 2 years, I actually feel like I have done great just promoting myself and maybe being on the news and doing different things and hosting workshops and with the She Changes Everything organization. Although She Changes Everything was birthed first, I had no idea that I would come back with all these other things to go along with it. So it has been amazing. Yes.
Awesome.
Of course, there's ups and downs, but once you
Yeah.
find that niche, yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I appreciate you sharing. So I want to open the floor before we get into some dialogue with all three of our authors. If anybody has any questions for Joi about her books, her organizations, and even her writing process, you can come off of chat or you can leave it in the chat here.
Yeah, so I have a question for Joy. So, how was that writing process? Because you were sharing of your personal self and the vulnerability of that. So how was that writing process to get the book even like out there for us to read?
So honestly, it was February the 1st of 2 years ago, whenever that was. All my years go together, and I was just like, whatever. And it's just like my mind was made up. Again, She Changes Everything with a made up mind. It was like my dad told me he wanted me to write this book. No, it suggested that I should do it. And it was like, you know what? I don't think it'd be a bad idea. So I just did it. I've always been the type of person that I really never cared what people thought about me. So it is what it was. Like I never really worried about who was gonna buy the book or what they was gonna say about the book, because people gonna say good things and bad things no matter what about you or even about the book. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, and you said it, just do it. Like that's the best thing Nike could have ever said, just do it. But again, I had to heal before. Now I did go into the book and I had to dig some things up, some things that I've healed from. I had to dig things up, some things that I forgot about, and once I wrote about it, I just buried them again, because I actually had to relive some moments that were hurtful for me. But again, I realized that it wasn't for me. It's for someone else. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes, definitely. And that's one thing I love is when we're writing, we remember that our purpose is not just for us. So when we're sharing like our personal stories, we have, even if it's sometimes uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
we have God to like guide us through it. And then even as a fiction author, so you're going to inspire so many other people to pick up the pen and get all of those creative thoughts on paper to become published authors. So I always appreciate being able to share that aspect of it. And Joi, I want to give you an opportunity before we get into some dialogue here. How can we purchase your books from you?
Okay. So I'm on Amazon, Joi West Phalo. And then I have a website. It's joywestphalo.com. So if you see my name, it's exactly just like that. And then it's .com. And if you do go on Amazon, follow me on Amazon, and you'll get alert when all my new books come out. Did I just say all my new books? I mean, I got some more
Mm-hmm.
inside of me. Did you catch
Yeah,
that?
that's
Y'all
it.
caught that? Oh, okay.
That's it.
Definitely more on the
And
way.
that's for all of us on Amazon. Follow us on Amazon
That's
and you'll be
right.
alerted.
Yes, definitely. I love that. Yes, I got an alert for your workbook that just came out. So that is true. You will get the notification. So I have enjoyed hearing about each of your journey, although different. It's certain things that all authors have in common, right? And that's that you finished and you became a published author. So that's a major accomplishment and not something to take lightly, right? So you have this book, you're doing great things with it. But I always want to give back in a way to be able to share some tips with people who are maybe thinking about writing a book. They're scared to pick up the pen. So if you can just give me one writing tip that you would share, outside of what you already share, what's one writing tip that you would share to someone to encourage them to start writing? And we'll start with Dani, then go to ShaKrystin, and then Joi.
A writing tip. Other than just do it. Let's see. Um, I would say, um, just take your time and um learn your craft, I guess you could say. Because like for me, I mean, I've always wanted to write. Um, but I just didn't know how, I think, or I just and I'm a 70s baby, so there were no Black authors, right? It's not as known now. So I didn't know how to perfect that craft until I got a little older. So resources. I mean, as soon as I started writing, I was on Facebook, I was following communities, I was trying to get into some podcasts, I was just trying to follow people to perfect my craft. And I'm still learning how to perfect the writing because it never stops. I feel like I can do more and improve and do better. So, as you write, learn how to perfect your craft and learn get the resources and get with people, author coaches, people like Juanita. Juanita is awesome at what she does. And I'm glad I'm in her presence even now. I'm learning so much from her. right now, and I want to learn more. So continue to perfect your craft and learn more.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And if I always just like, y'all break my heart when y'all say that. I love being able to support you all on your author journeys. That's what I'm here for. So thank you for sharing that, Dani. And then we're gonna kick it off to ShaKrystin and then Joi jump right in once she's done.
One thing, if you're gonna write, don't hold anything back. I mean, just let it all out. Because like I say, what you have to say to somebody else, that can be very helpful. So if you got something to say, write it down and put it out there. Don't be scared. Just go for it.
I like that. Yes.
So for me, I never envisioned myself being an author, just to be 100% honest. So if you are in a stage where you want to write, don't think that your first draft have to be perfect. Like for me, when I was writing, because I go through my book as my childhood, then I do like um middle school, high school, whatever, however it is, I may start at the beginning of it, but I don't try to do it in a timeline. Like I may have jumped at the beginning and started my conclusion. You know what I mean? So you don't have to try to do it all at one time because you may forget. And then that's what you hire an editor for, so they can put it all together. But when we were in elementary school, you know, that paper, you start maybe, and we had to write, you start with the brainstorming and do the little webs. Like that's exactly how you start writing your book. So don't think you have to know everything. And then changing sceneries was a huge thing for me. And then writing on paper and even using the notes on your phone, because you can transfer all that stuff onto the computer. So the first step, don't think you have to be perfect with this. Just do it. Just start. Just start.
That's so important. And I know some authors even, and I've encouraged people to do this, record yourself, use your voice notes and record yourself. If you're out and you're thinking and you have like, oh, that's something I need to write down and you don't have a pencil, a pen or paper handy, pull out your phone and record yourself. You can go back to that later. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm going to jump to the next question and I'm going to open the floor to see if any of our guests have any questions for our authors. So what was one, exciting or like defining moment that you've experienced so far in your author journey? Yes. And we'll start with ShaKrystin, kick it to Joi, and then Dani can finish up.
One thing was when I got to go on the news, it was something called Mom Chat. The book had just came out, and then it was like maybe like 3 weeks later, she was like, "Hey, you ready to come on and talk about this?" And I was like, "Wow, it just came out." I wasn't really, but I got on there, I talked about it, and it was just an experience because, like I said, this was my first time doing something like that and just promoting it. So, I mean, it was just an experience. Like I said, the whole thing right now is still so surreal because who would ever thought that I'd be sitting up here writing something and putting it out and I'm a published author? Like, who would have thought? So now, you know, just being able to, just like right now, being on this podcast, this is my first podcast ever. So this is something new to me. I'm excited. And I just want to just keep going forward with the book, just keep pushing it because it could be something else cooking up too.
I'm sorry. Can you restate your question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So what was like one defining, exciting moment that you experienced so far in your author journey?
So for me, in my book, there's a quote, "If I got through it, you can too." And what I did was I had that put on a coffee mug and I shipped it to the Jennifer Hudson show. And so because she does the mug moment last season she did, um, viewers can send her a mug and a little snippet of what's the meaning of it. And like that was it for me. She had my mug and she described it and she said my name and it was just amazing. So that has been like the highlight of this whole author journey. And of course, you know, just inspiring people and taking advantage of the different podcasts and being on the news and, you know, different things like that. Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump right in. So the defining moment for me I would say when I had the book in my hand, because I it was like surreal. Like I've always wanted to like write a book, like I said, growing up, and just envisioning that. So when I ordered the book, because I was doing a book fair, and I reached out to my publishing company and I ordered like 25 books. Like, so this box comes and like there it is. Like it's the cover, it's my picture on the back. Like it was like in my hand. And I was like, oh my God, like that's me. So that like like it's not, but it was just like, oh, I did good. Oh yeah. So that was just, it's still exciting. I took a picture of it. I was gonna post it. I don't think I did. I better do it. All the video. Oh, my book's here, and I was all excited. So yeah, that was exciting.
I
Yes,
know
that's
that
always
feeling so
exciting.
well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we were all thinking the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that's such a
Yeah.
great
Hmm.
experience, especially with your first book. Is
Hmm.
like, so I wrote my first book and published it back in 2017. And even now to this day, when I get copies of that first book, I'm still just so excited.
Hmm. Hmm.
That feeling will never go away. Yes. I definitely appreciate you ladies sharing. And congratulations for being able to um share with Jennifer Hudson and then ShaKrystin going on TV. That's
Hmm.
amazing. Those are great
Awesome.
things and always a wonderful way to be able to connect with people that you don't know. So yes, I want to make sure that we open the floor to anyone else who has any questions for our authors this evening. You are able to come off mute or you can share in the chat. And authors, if you have questions for one of the other authors, don't be afraid to come off mute either. You're more than welcome to share.
Danny, do you have more books inside of you?
Do I? So I want I want to write a horror book that's inside me. And I have a suspense, and then a part two of the Entangled with Deceit is to come. So it's in there. I just gotta write it. So I just gotta get it on paper so it can start the process. But yeah, it's in me. I have a lot I need to get out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we do have a question in the chat. So this is a question all the three of you can actually answer. Some creative ways to market your book, or what are some creative ways that you have marketed your book? And we'll start with Joy and then Dani and then ShaKrystin.
For me, I like to take pictures with my buyers. Like whoever buy the book, I like to take a picture. I mean, people like to do association. It's all about who you're associated with. Oh, such and such bought the book. Oh, let me grab a copy. Okay, that type of thing. And people like exposure. They like to be recognized. So that works.
Okay, I'm coming off mute. So one of the things, so marketing at first was hard because this writing thing was new to me. So, but the thing I did even before the book was out, um, I was on a couple of podcasts. I followed the community of Facebook authors, and there were a couple of ladies who were doing free. I didn't have to pay a thing. They were just saying, "Come on our podcast, and we'll help you promote your book." And so that's how I got out there. I did that even before it was published, and I was just talking about it. It's coming out in a couple of months. It's coming out in March. It was like December last year. I was like, yeah, my book will be out in March. I did have a cover, the cover. It was on the flyer, so I kind of shared it that way. And I've been doing a couple of podcasts. Like I said, I just found something they didn't charge, maybe $10, if that, or was free, just to get that exposure as a new author. I was doing those a lot.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, yeah. Social media platform, basically. Facebook, Instagram, things like that. Like I say, I work for the school system. I send the book out to everybody's email thread. Hey, go get the book. Just wherever I can send it out to. But yeah, just pretty much mine right now is just social media.
Yes, you gave great answers. So I just want to kind of piggyback and then share some ideas as well. So going out to like vendor events, that's a really great way. You can also even just taking like short videos of you even writing, right? Signing your book, being very creative, getting people to do like video reviews of your book. Even after you, if you hand it to them, go ahead and pull your phone out, see if they will leave you a video review, resharing your reviews from Amazon. So I saw that all three of you ladies have reviews on Amazon. So repurpose that as content and share that. So those are really great ways to market your book and get other people excited. And then join the Authors Impact Hub, right? Just a shameless plug, join so that you can get more tips and ideas on how to market
Yes.
your book. Yes.
Yes.
All right, so we have another question here. So what are the successes you've had in terms of sales? So whoever wants to jump in and answer that question, you can do that.
We still selling those books. That's
We
all it
still,
is. We
we
still
still
making those
selling.
coins. Go
I'm still
online
selling.
and get the books.
For
I'm
me,
still selling.
for me, I had a book signing, and that really worked. Like when the book, I'm telling y'all, this book right here, 15, 19, 23, is my real baby. Like I have 4 babies, 4 kids. This book, I have a celebration. Like when it turned 1 years old, 2 years old,
I'm
make
gonna
it a
do that.
big deal because this is something that you work hard for. Like, can't nobody take these books away from you. So I had a book signing, and I was just amazed at the support that I had. And I can tell you this, I did pre-orders. And just from my pre-orders
Yeah.
alone, listen now, just from my pre-orders alone, that took care of the venue. That took care of the venue. If you get what I'm saying, venues are expensive. So, and then it took care of the decor, everything. I didn't really, maybe I came out the pocket $200, let's just say. But my sales have been amazing because I hyped it up. You know what I mean? And then when you let's just be honest, when you telling about your life, people really want to hear about it, right?
They're nosy.
Especially being right, exactly. And
Yeah.
especially with my situation, because people expect you to fold. People don't you know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, I did. So I think I actually I haven't like done it now, but I've sold over 3,000 copies.
That's
Just by
awesome.
myself,
Wow.
so I haven't I don't have a PR person. So I thank God, because just imagine if I was to pay a PR, where would it go? You know what I mean? So I've just been, but God's gonna bless me and I'm gonna get a PR person one day. So the
Yep.
sales are what you make it, because it's really another business.
Yeah.
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 So
Absolutely.
Okay,
Uh,
so
I'm still selling, but
yeah.
I do. But you know what I'm gonna do? So next year, my book will be a year, and I am planning a celebration to celebrate my 1 year book. So that's I'm thinking about that now, how I want to do it. But I already said I want to do that. So that's to come, and I'll share that next year as it gets closer. But I'm gonna do that.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
yeah.
That's a great way. Go ahead,
And
ShaKrystin.
like I said, and like next week, what is throwing us a big book tour down here in Mobile. So she's got us and some ladies. I mean, this lady right here is busy, so she's got us doing a book tour next week, promoting these books and everything. So I mean, like we're booked and busy. Ain't that the motto?
Yes, yes, I love it. And just constantly putting yourself out there, stepping out of your comfort zone is it's huge, it's major. And then once you step out of your comfort zone, honestly, what will happen is the doors will start to open for you, right? people aren't going to find you if all you do is just, if you're just behind the computer. You really have to get out there, have a marketing plan. That's
Yeah.
major, right? Identifying who your target audience is before your book is done. Start to market your book before it's even out there. So those are really key things that you need to do to really market your book. But don't give up, right? Keep showing up every single day. Be okay if one thing doesn't work, you try again tomorrow. So that's the good thing about the book is already out. So it's okay to fail forward. Just don't give up when it comes to marketing your book. Okay, so
And
we are, go ahead, Dani, and then
I
I'll
have
go
one more. I have
out.
one more thing. For me, and have a budget for when you get ready to do your book. Because I know for me, that's like I said, I thought I was just gonna write the book and it was gonna go. But I needed the next book. I'm gonna make sure I have a budget. I'm gonna make sure I budget out because it really costs the copyright, the book cover, just the editing. And I went to Fiverr, that website, and found some really good people that were really reasonable. Didn't cost a lot for my book cover, didn't cost a lot for edits. Upwork is a good website, didn't cost a lot for them to review it, things like that. I had to find some budget apps and budget resources. So have a budget, kind of financially plan, because you're going to need to pay for almost everything, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It could be reasonable, and you can find some really good people on those apps.
Yes, definitely. Having a budget is very important. Doing the research. There's a lot of great ways that you can market your book, that you can get your book published and not break the bank. But one thing I'm really excited about, and I'm going to give all of you an opportunity to let us know how we can connect with you on social media. One thing I'm excited about for 2025, right? So if you have another book that's coming out, we're going to have a webinar where we are walking you through launching pre-orders, profitable pre-orders, right? So that's a great way to get your money back before the book even hits the market. So I'm really excited for that. All right, so this has been amazing. Thank you all for engaging with all of the authors. Authors, thank you for coming on and sharing about your journeys and your books. I have enjoyed this evening a lot, actually. You've inspired me so much more than you can even imagine. So I want to give Joi, if you can go first, let us know how we can connect with you on social media, then ShaKrystin, and then Dani.
All right, so I am a Facebook person. So it's Joi West Phalo. I am on Instagram. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm not really Instagram savvy. So, but I am on TikTok. And if you go on my TikTok, Miss Dani, you will see like the whole birthday party for my baby for my book two. So like I did a whole little celebration. But anyways, you can look me up Joi West Phalo on Facebook, and then TikTok, and my website is joywestphalo.com. Yes.
I'm on Facebook. It's just ShaKrystin Jones Dock, and if you go to Instagram, it's author Shay Dock Jones. No, author J Dock. I'm sorry, because I'm like Joy. I don't do Instagram too tough, but it is author Shay J Dock.
And so I'm on Facebook at Dani Nicole, and I'm on Facebook at Dani Nicole, the author. Then I'm on Instagram at Dani Nicole, the author. And then my website where you can purchase my book. I have some copies and some merchandise, t-shirts, bags. I'm at DaniNicoleTheAuthor.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Make sure you please go and connect with our authors, right? It's very important, not just about like buying the books, but even being able to see the behind the scenes, and being able to see how much they are showing up every single day, sharing their stories. It takes a lot of courage to get up every single day and continue to market these babies, right? That it took us 9 months or even longer to birth, right? So we want to make sure that we continue to support, share their content, like engage. Is very important. So I appreciate even our guests for joining us tonight. Thank you for dropping the questions in the chat. This has been amazing. If you have not already connected with us on the Authors Impact Hub, I have your email, but you can connect with me on Facebook and I will send you the link to join our community. And then also, if you haven't done a podcast episode, please come on and do a podcast so that we can continue to share your story. Yes, so that is all we have tonight. Make sure that you connect with us. So our next author meet and greet will be on in November the 9th. So you'll be able to register for that. We'll share the link. And thank you so much for joining. You all have a safe evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.